The episode 13 begins with the sound of clicking cameras as Jin Woo, dressed in a sleek black suit and holding a single flower, attends the funeral honoring those who lost their lives in the Jeju Island raid. This raid, now a nationwide topic of discussion, provided the public with a rare glimpse of Jin Woo in action as an S-rank hunter. Online commentary largely highlights his remarkable strength, with some in awe, stating things like, "I never thought it was possible to summon so many beasts," or "Watching him battle the ants was like a miracle cure." Among the responses, one post stands out. "I lost my parents during the Jeju raid." However, Jin Woo will never read these words. As discussions about his abilities rage on, some propose that he should be elevated to the status of a national-level hunter, while others contend that he's not quite there yet. However, the majority concur that his performance during the raid was truly exceptional. Questions also arise regarding how someone who began as an E rank could achieve such monumental strength, with rumors of a possible second awakening circulating. A few note that the secrecy surrounding his identity has kept significant parts of his story out of public reach. Meanwhile, the entire nation remains captivated by the raid's success, with Jin Woo squarely at its center. Although he basks in immense admiration, criticisms follow closely behind. One remark ponders, what if Jin Woo had been part of the raid from the very beginning? Perhaps Min Byung-gu might still be alive. Others speculate that his earlier involvement could have resulted in a reduced number of casualties. While many rally behind Jin Woo, some grudgingly acknowledge the underlying truth within these critiques. While many rally behind Jin Woo, few attempt to counter the criticism, acknowledging the unavoidable truth of the casualties. This moment of reflection takes center stage as Jin Woo places a flower at the memorial dedicated to hunter Min Byung-gu. The scene transitions to Jin Woo standing solemnly before Byung-gu's photograph, surrounded by family and friends of the fallen. Among them is Baek Yoon-ho, a close companion of Byung-gu. Their eyes meet briefly before Yoon-ho steps forward and says, "I always believed that no single hero could end a war on his own. But after everything that unfolded, I've started reconsidering that belief," he adds. Just before parting, he continues, "Keep your head high, Mr. Sung. You were the one who put an end to this tragedy. Thank you." Tears are visible on Yoon-ho's face as he speaks. As Jin Woo turns to leave, he catches sight of Hai-in looking in his direction. Their eyes lock for a fleeting moment before she glances away, her cheeks flushed. Jin Woo finds himself confused by her reaction. Shifting his focus back to the graves of the fallen, he silently contemplates the statistics of the raid. 4,801 hunters participated in the 5th Jeju Island raid, alongside 727 awakened civilians summoned to aid. Tragically, 64 awakened beings and 32 civilians lost their lives in the fight. Despite these grim numbers, the death toll for this raid was the lowest compared to the 4 previous attempts. The narrative moves to a discussion between Jin Woo and Chairman Go, seated together. Chairman Go inquires if Jin Woo intends to establish his own guild, noting that S-rank hunters no longer require a guild master's license. All they need is a call to the association. Jin Woo nods, mentally resolving to explore the privileges and benefits available to S-rank hunters. Mid-conversation, Chairman Go asks unexpectedly, "Did you cast some sort of barrier on Jeju Island?" Jin Woo, taken aback, responds, "Pardon?" Chairman Go elaborates, explaining that soldiers and hunters deployed to clear ant carcasses and retrieve essence stones had mysteriously lost consciousness. This phenomenon affected even A-rank and B-rank hunters, including members of the Knights Guild. Chairman Go speculates if Jin Woo unintentionally cast a spell, but Jin Woo denies this possibility. Chairman Go replies, "I see. That's what I thought." Jin Woo, now intrigued, inquires about the soldiers' recollections. Chairman Go explains that none of them remember anything from the moment they lost consciousness, leaving no evidence of whether a magical spell was involved. As Chairman Go rubs his temples, Jin Woo remains silent, wondering if the ants might have left behind a latent trap. Their conversation is interrupted by an associate informing Chairman Go of a guest who has arrived earlier than expected. Chairman Go excuses himself, thanking Jin Woo for his time. Jin Woo replies courteously and begins heading toward his car. Just as he is about to open the door, a man approaches him and asks, "Excuse me, are you Sung Jin Woo?" The man introduces himself as Adam White, a senior representative from the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Handing Jin Woo a business card, Adam says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Sung. Please, call me Adam." He apologizes for the abrupt meeting, explaining the difficulty in locating Jin Woo and mentioning that he even visited his office. Jin Woo, suspecting Adam might be the individual Jin Ho referenced earlier, asks, "What brings you to me?" Adam responds, "I've come to share some valuable information." Jin Woo, curious, asks, "What sort of information?" Adam replies with confidence, knowledge that no other organization or nation in the world could offer, except us. Jin Woo questions their intent in sharing such knowledge, to which Adam explains, "We gain from collaborating with exceptional individuals like yourself." He further elaborates that they initially had different reasons to visit, but after witnessing Jin Woo's performance during the Jeju Island raid, their deputy director insisted on meeting him personally. Adam smiles and adds, "This is unprecedented." The deputy director will explain everything in detail. There's a car waiting nearby if you'd like to meet him. Intrigued but cautious, Jin Woo joins Adam in the car, silently pondering the legitimacy of the information being offered. As they drive, Adam suddenly remarks, "How thoughtless of me. I forgot to reveal the most important card when striking a deal. Let me clarify. An upgrader." Jin Woo is visibly startled, prompting Adam to explain. An upgrader is an awakened individual with the ability to enhance the powers of another awakened being. Have you encountered one before? The car pulls up to a building as the conversation continues. Adam then introduces Jin Woo to Michael Connor, the deputy director of the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Michael extends his hand and says, "It's an honor to meet you." After the introductions, Adam mentions that he will act as their interpreter. Wasting no time, Michael slides a stack of immigration papers across the table and states, "Normally, this process takes 1 to 2 years, but we're prepared to expedite it for you." He adds, "Just give your approval, and you'll gain American citizenship instantly." However, Jin Woo responds firmly, "I came because Mr. White mentioned you had some information for me about an awakened individual who can enhance the powers of others, an upgrader. Is it really possible to amplify a hunter's abilities?" Jin Woo asks. Michael smiles and responds, "As a matter of fact, the person with such a gift is here right now." He looks toward the back of the room and instructs a staff member, "Please bring Miss Sellner in." The chapter closes as a woman, known as an upgrader, steps into the room. The next chapter begins with Mr. Connor introducing Norma Sellner to Jin Woo, explaining that she is the only awakened being in the world who can enhance the abilities of others. As Jin Woo studies Miss Sellner, he reflects that her aura feels completely distinct from any other awakened being he's encountered. Michael interrupts his thoughts, asking Miss Sellner to elaborate on her abilities to Jin Woo. She begins by addressing Jin Woo directly, admitting she expects him to be skeptical. "Everyone reacts with doubt when they first hear about my power," she says. "But trust me, once you feel its effects, you'll be begging for more." This prompts Mr. Connor to interject gently, calling Miss Sellner's attention as she approaches Jin Woo. She explains that Jin Woo likely already knows every awakened being has a fixed limit to their strength, a cap no one can break, unless they undergo a second awakening. "It's common knowledge among hunters," she says. Jin Woo asks her directly, "But you can surpass that limit?" Miss Sellner confirms, "Yes. I possess the ability to help awakened individuals transcend their limits." She outlines a 3-stage process that breaks through those barriers, lifting their restrictions. She confesses that even she isn't sure what to call this power, but describes it as a forced reawakening, essentially unlocking a person's ultimate potential. Mr. Connor backs her statement, confirming its validity.
However, he also notes that Miss Selner requires substantial rest after using her abilities, limiting her to helping only 3 or 4 people a year. Reflecting on this, Jin Woo considers that he might be one of the select few chosen to benefit from her unique gift. If her claims were true, her power was undoubtedly extraordinary.
How effective is this process? Jin Woo inquires. Miss Selner explains that results vary by individual, but those who complete all 3 stages experience a 20 to 30% increase in strength. Jin Woo is stunned by her response. A 20 to 30% power boost is almost unimaginable. He realizes why Hwang Dong-soo chose to relocate to America despite the controversy surrounding him. Jin Woo muses, who would decline such an opportunity? Any hunter would jump at the chance. He then asks, what if news of her powers leaks out? Mr. Connor calmly reassures him, explaining that her abilities are precisely why she's under their protection. In exchange, they provide her with appropriate compensation and ensure her safety, while Miss Selner aids in enhancing the abilities of their carefully selected hunters. Mr. Connor then informs Jin Woo that Miss Selner's power is to be offered to him as a gift. Jin Woo, still cautious, asks, do you mean this is some kind of deal? Mr. Connor clarifies, if you choose to work with the Federal Bureau, you'll be given priority and exclusive benefits. We'll also facilitate introductions with the guild of your choice to secure the best possible contract. Sliding a plate across the table, Miss Selner adds, you're not required to decide immediately. This is simply an introduction to the idea. Jin Woo raises a brow. Excuse me? Miss Selner reiterates, as I mentioned, this is merely a gift. Mr. Connor steps in and asks for permission to lift Jin Woo's limits. Jin Woo questions, and you expect nothing in return? Mr. Connor responds, think of it as a complimentary service. Jin Woo, recalling Miss Selner's words about begging for more after experiencing her power, could sense her confidence in the results. She instructed Jin Woo to extend his hand and maintain eye contact, explaining that this was the first step. Watching the interaction, Michael silently noted that Jin Woo had already taken the bait and was keeping his composure. He speculated that once the first stage was complete, Jin Woo might either reach out to them willingly or, if impatient, sign the documents immediately. Meanwhile, as Miss Selner held Jin Woo's hand, a faint glow began to emanate from it. Michael reflected on Jin Woo's remarkable past achievements, recalling his unprecedented success in the Jeju Island raid. He wondered just how far Jin Woo's capabilities could extend. A green aura surrounded Jin Woo, and the light in his eyes intensified. As the process unfolded, Miss Selner's eyes began to shine, enveloped by a powerful aura. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. Miss Selner found herself in a place shrouded in darkness. A face emerged from the void, its features faint and terrifying. Slowly, a figure advanced from the shadows, stopping directly in front of her, its piercing gaze filled with a frightening intensity. Overwhelmed, Miss Selner screamed, abruptly halting the process and startling everyone in the room. Startled agents quickly drew their weapons, pointing them at Jin Woo and demanding to know what he had done to her. Infuriated, Michael berated the agents, yelling, "Have you lost your minds? Do you not recognize who he is?" He called them fools and ordered them to check on Miss Selner instead of making baseless accusations. Michael turned to Jin Woo, bowing his head apologetically. "I'm deeply sorry for their behavior. They crossed a line," he said. Jin Woo, though shocked, replied, "It's fine." Seething, Michael addressed the agents once more, warning that had they done this to someone like Thomas Andre or Lu Ji Gang, they wouldn't have survived the day. "Do you understand?" he demanded coldly. The frightened agents nodded quickly in agreement. Michael then approached the trembling Miss Selner, noting the sweat on her brow. He asked if she was unwell. Soon after, he explained to Jin Woo that Miss Selner seemed unfit to continue and requested permission to reschedule the procedure. Jin Woo agreed without hesitation. As Michael instructed Adam to escort Jin Woo out of the room, he turned to Miss Selner and asked her what had happened. Her hands trembled as she stammered, "He's a king, a powerful one.
Michael, stunned, asked if she meant Jin Woo was on the level of a national-grade hunter. Miss Zellner shook her head, struggling to articulate further. "I've never encountered anything like this before," she admitted. "He is a king, but not an ordinary one. While I looked at him, he was looking back. There's an infinite darkness inside him." Her haunting words lingered as the chapter concluded. There is no limit to his power.
The next chapter begins at the Hunter Association office, where Chairman Go sat in despair, his head buried in his hands. He couldn't come to terms with losing a hunter like Min Byung-gu. Though he knew Byung-gu had retired and was no longer an active hunter, it was painful to see his death labeled as a noble sacrifice. Chairman Go also anticipated greater challenges ahead, with the potential for more destruction and loss of life than they had endured this time. His thoughts were interrupted by the ring of his phone. He received a report that a B-rank gate had appeared on the highway. Realizing that a standard strike squad would struggle with a B-rank gate, he prepared to contact the major guilds for help. However, he paused, recalling that Jin Woo had recently opened an office nearby. Meanwhile, Jin Woo was driving home, still reflecting on his encounter with Miss Zellner. He felt certain that she had noticed something unusual about him, but couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. He wondered if she had glimpsed the system, which made him uneasy after seeing the terror in her expression. Jin Woo doubted she would be willing to meet him again. Caught in traffic, Jin Woo reflected on how much easier it was to take the subway. Just then, his phone rang. It was Chairman Go. Upon answering, Jin Woo was surprised as Chairman Go informed him about the gate that had appeared on the road. He quickly deduced that the traffic jam was likely due to the gate. Chairman Go then asked, "Could you handle it, Mr. Sung?" Jin Woo inquired if entering without an entry permit would be allowed. Laughing, Chairman Go asked jokingly, "Who do you think oversees entry permits?" Jin Woo responded, "The Hunter Association." Chairman Go followed up, "And who are you speaking with right now?" Jin Woo smiled, replying, "The chairman of the Hunter Association." Reassuring him, Chairman Go added, "There's nothing to worry about." Jin Woo then quipped, "In that case, I'll gladly take the free experience points. Thank you." The scene shifted to the gate on the highway, where a large crowd, including reporters, had gathered. Reports indicated that the gate had manifested on an expressway. Among the onlookers, some were directing people to safety. A female Hunter Association member tried to stop a man from entering the restricted area, stating it was off limits. However, upon recognizing him, she stuttered in shock and asked, "Are you the S-rank hunter, Jin Woo?" Nearby, individuals in their vehicles also identified him, exclaiming, "That's Jin Woo! Looks like he's about to handle the situation himself." The woman, still flustered, hesitated but asked Jin Woo why he had come. She reminded him that being an S-rank hunter didn't mean he could disregard protocols. She then questioned if he had an entry permit for the gate. When Jin Woo didn't respond immediately, she firmly stated that even with a permit, he couldn't enter without the requisite number of hunters. In Jin Woo's mind, he was simply following Chairman Go's instructions. Calmly, he took out his phone, called Chairman Go, and informed him of the situation. Handing the phone to the woman, he said, "Take this call." Puzzled, the woman asked who was on the other end of the line. Jin Woo responded casually, "Someone you won't argue with." On the line, Chairman Go's voice resonated, "This is Go Gun Hee speaking." The woman, trembling, quickly replied, Yes, of course. I'll follow the chairman's instructions." As Jin Woo began to step into the gate, he announced his intent to enter. Internally, the woman hoped he might trip and twist his ankle. Once Jin Woo entered, the other Hunter Association members noticed the gate's unusual activity. "What's happening? Is the gate?" someone exclaimed. Suddenly, the gate shifted color. The woman shouted in alarm, "A red gate!" She briefly wondered if her ill wishes toward Jin Woo had caused this anomaly. Inside, Jin Woo observed the unfamiliar surroundings and muttered to himself, "This feels like a red gate."
He stood silently in a rain-soaked forest, taking in his surroundings. He noted that the entrance had sealed behind him and realized he needed to move forward. His thoughts turned to his mother, who had once told him, "I just want you to do whatever makes you happy." After his awakening, she reassured him that as an S-rank hunter, it was his responsibility to save lives, just as his father had done. She had shared how his father, a firefighter before becoming a hunter, had captured her heart by rescuing people from a blazing fire. She reminded Jin Woo that his father's blood flowed through his veins and urged him not to overexert himself.